Hey man, Americans are showing their paychecks and things of that nature. And some of these paychecks are gonna shock you in a good and bad way. I ain't gonna lie to you. But before we get into the video, like it before you light it, hit the sub before you hit the bud, join the team before you hit the green, and don't forget to
hype me up. Hype me up.
I need that.
Hype me up.
How much you guys think I make at McDonald's? 2 weeks. I'm a manager. Don't let my shirt fool you. We don't make shit. Me and my husband were both managers at McDonald's. And for 2 weeks, I only bring home, where's it at? $1,100. That's 2 weeks. So as manager, in a full month of working, I bring in, what, 2,400? People are always like, why are you guys so broke? Just our rent alone is $1,500. Our car payment is $500. My car insurance, because I was an irresponsible addict for so long, that's like $400 a month. We live in Phoenix, Arizona. My electric bill is like $200 a month. You guys just add up like our regular bills. We only have like a $300-$400 median after that. And we still have to grocery shop, gas, have money to live. We don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. My husband makes a little bit more money than I do. Tiny bit, not much.
Yeah, that's insane, bro. $2,200 a month ain't no money in 2026, dog. That is poverty. And then she said her husband makes a little bit more than her. They're not doing too good, dog. They're not.
Hi, you guys. So it's currently, I think, like 8:45, 8:41. I just got home from a shift and I got my first residency paycheck. So I figured I'd come on camera and open it with you guys. So here goes nothing, I guess. Let's see. They got all these whatchamacallits here. Okay. Okay, so gross earnings is $2,227.68. Net pay is $1,774.26. Not horrible. Is this for 40 hours? I don't know how much this is for. Okay, so it has my hourly rate. My hourly rate is $39.78. I don't know how many hours this is for, though, in total. So maybe I'll have to do some math or read the email that they sent.
Now, I understand she's in residency, but America is weird. A whole doctor is making only about $600 more than a manager at McDonald's. Just keep that in mind.
Let's break down my bi-weekly paycheck because I know you guys are nosy and people like watching these videos and I'm very transparent. So let's get into it. To start off, I got paid this Friday. My bi-weekly net pay was $2,635. So that's after all the taxes, retirement, health insurance, everything. I got $2,635. But I actually only got $1,415 in my actual bank account. And let me explain. First of all, $700 automatically goes into my joint account, which is for our mortgage, electric, water bill, car insurance, all those types of things. Second, $420 automatically goes from my payroll. It goes into a different account that I have that pays a SoFi loan. And then $100 goes into a savings account that I have automatically. So automatically that happens. And then I get $1,415. Out of that, we are putting $150 into another savings account. $75 is going to pay a home equity line of credit. $120 is paying my phone bill. $75 is going towards my Discover credit card. $50 is going towards my Chase credit card. $81 is going to an Affirm that I have. $76 is going to an Affirm that I have. I get a little carried away sometimes. $275 is budgeted for groceries for 2 weeks, so that is split up. $100 for gas, which I only think is going to be $80 because I still have a quarter of a tank and I only drive like 1.5 miles to 3 miles a day. $120 is going to go to my nails and my toes and my eyebrows. Don't know when I'm going to get it done, but sometime within this 2 week period. And then $140 is going to go towards me getting my hair done, my daughter's hair done, and a wax. I get it from the same girl on the same day. It's going to be $140, which leaves me with $153 remaining to spend what I want. I don't think I'm going to need to spend it because I already have everything budgeted for what I need to spend this week. So that's what my bi-weekly paycheck looks like. I'm somebody who's fully transparent when it comes to money. I don't think it matters to talk about money. I think it motivates people to talk about money. So that's why I am starting to do these videos. So if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, that is my paycheck breakdown.
Hey, one key thing is that she ain't doing it by herself. You know, that's a plus.
Let's go ahead and budget my paycheck as a 25-year-old engineer working in Atlanta, Georgia. So this paycheck, I got paid $3,677. The first thing that I do every single paycheck is move $800 to my rent savings, and this pays half of my rent each month. Then I pay off all my credit card balances in full, and this time it was $1,516. Then I paid $300 towards my car payment, and this is all additional principal because I already made my car payment earlier this month. Then I moved $241 to my car insurance savings, and I actually need to pay that here in a couple days. Investing is a huge priority for me, so with this last $800, I moved over to my Fidelity brokerage account, and I'll show y'all what I plan on investing into later this week. And I just realized I have $19 left over, so I'll probably just move this to my emergency fund. Overall, I think I need to cut down on my credit card spending, but it is what it is. Follow for more finance tips.
Hey man, shout out to that young brother right there, dog. Coincidentally, most of the millionaires that I personally know have engineering backgrounds. They're really smart people, and you know, they're good with numbers, and they're logical people for the most part. Don't be surprised if one day he's a high net worth individual.
Right, everyone. Open my first paycheck with me. I have been working here as a CNA for like 3 weeks now. I did training at first, which he said I would get 19 for that. And then as soon as I started like my actual shifts, it was 20. So let's hope that this number is right. Let's just say I have a number in mind that I know that it should be. But like, shoot, we'll see. This is like a little puzzle to open, first of all. Oh. Okay, I mean, like, it's good, but I feel like I'm $300 short here.
Hey, bro, I don't know about y'all, but when I was working a job, that number in my mind that I thought my check should be never matched up what it actually was, bro.
I'm a nurse, and yesterday was payday, and it's not looking very good for the next week. I get paid weekly, and I have about $4 to save me to the next week, so let's go over what I spent this week. All right, just to jump right into this, we're not going to waste any time, okay? My paycheck this week was $1,550. Here's the kicker. My husband got paid $0. Just because he gets paid bi-weekly, not weekly. So he got paid last week, so this week it was just my paycheck, not his. You guys hate when I say this, you really, really do. Every single comment on this video will be related to this. I pay my tithing, $155. Not that bad. Sometimes I pay $1,000 in tithing, sometimes I pay $100 in tithing. This week I paid $155 in tithing. All right, now to get into the expenses of things. This week I feel like wasn't too bad with expenses. We went to see the new Minions movie this week. It was terrible. It was literal garbage. It was horrible. But I spent $24 for our family of 4 to go to the movies. We went on Tuesday where it's like $6, I think, and then it's a $6 movie plus free popcorn. And where I live, it's like a million freaking degrees, and so I'm trying to find indoor things to do with my kids, but yet take them out of the house. So I found like an open gym, like tumbling type of thing, and that was $3 for both of them for like an hour. And then after the open gym, I just felt like shopping. $43. Yeah, my husband kind of got on me for that one, but I spent $43 at Target. It was all unnecessary, but I just felt like going to Target. Next, I spent $17 at Aldi. I don't remember what I bought. I think we were having dinner that night and I needed a few random things. So I spent $17 at Aldi. And then this week we went out to lunch twice, which is kind of unusual for us, but we spent $54 in total just going to lunch this week. And on Amazon this week, I spent $29, which I feel like it's pretty good. Walmart this week, we spent $106. Now, we're not paying our rent or any really like big bills this week, but I will still put some into savings because I'm going to prepare for when rent for August comes out, $800 into my savings. All right, last but not least, our car payment came out this week, and that was $300. So after all of that, we are left over with a big whopping $19 to get us until next week.
She earns a decent living, her and her husband or boyfriend, whatever he is, and they only have $19 left after paying everything. That go to show you how expensive it is to live in America, man. She didn't say nothing crazy.
I got a serious question. How the is it that I work out in sites like this? Blue collar work, right? We building shit like this. Valve cans, pipe, backflows, you know, concrete, all this shit. Blue collar work, you know what I'm saying? How the is it that I work in this? And I'm a heavy equipment operator, so that is what I operate. You know, that is another one. But yet, I'm still struggling to live in America. I'm building shit like this. You know, right now I'm in Kissimmee, Florida, but I'm building shit like this. Shit like this. Dealing with shit like this. Digging down on meters and raising the boxes to curb level and everything. How is it that I'm doing heavy labor jobs, you know, because that's what they say. This is what the old generation says. You got to work hard. You got to get you a good job. This is what they say. Work hard, get you a good job, or pick up a good trade. How is it that I work in something like this and got 6 years of experience in this, make a significant good amount of money when it comes to gross pay, but yet I'm still struggling? And I'm living below my means. I don't have Netflix. I don't have any of that shit, right? Just enough to pay the rent, just enough to pay my insurance on my car, barely can get food. Food stamp says I make way too much. You know what I'm saying? How is it that I live in America working heavy labor, blue collar jobs like this, 6 years of experience, and yet I can't live in America?
It's a reason for that, brother. Politicians sold us out decades ago, man. They made sure that the corporations had all the power and that they could do whatever they wanted to us, the people, bro. It's really that simple. They don't have to do nothing for us. It's all about profits.
This is what I'm struggling with in America right now in my 20s. Why is everything so expensive? Why am I making more money waitressing than I would make using my college degree? I barely have a life. I have 2 days off and I work Wednesday to Sunday, doubling just to pay my bills. At 22 years old, all of my bills are in my name. I have no help. How are y'all affording housing? In Myrtle Beach, a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,500. How are y'all getting insurance, going to the doctor, getting medicine? And then some of us are trying to be TikTok influencers. Who knows where that's going to get me? Me and my boyfriend are saving, but we barely see each other during the week, and it feels like we're working our asses off for nothing. Do we need to move somewhere for a better job opportunity that we don't know about? Do any of y'all really know what you want to do with your life right now? It is so scary being in America right now.
If you kids can't live comfortably on $20 an hour, you have to be overspending. We got to break this down very quickly to give people perspective into the Gen Z's lives. If you make $20 an hour, that is $40,000 a year. After taxes, that is $2,750. The average 1-bedroom apartment and utility is going to run you $2,000. You cannot do that making $20 an hour, so you're going to have to rent with a roommate for about $1,200, and that's being conservative. $500 a month for groceries, which is less than $150 a week. $300 for a student loan payment, which is below average. $300 for a car payment, which is below average. $150 for car insurance, $150 for gas, $100 for personal care, $50 for a cell phone is $2,750. That is paycheck to paycheck, leaving you with nothing for savings, investments, the big one, health insurance, because I'm assuming they're under 26 years old, and zero fun. Now, if they were to make $30 an hour, that's $60,000 a year. That's $3,900 after taxes. Maybe they decide to get their own place for $2,000 and everything else stays the same. They're left with $350 a month, which is essentially still paycheck to paycheck. This is the cost of living in America.
Now, look, I don't be counting people's pockets and I don't want nobody counting mine. But, bro, at one point, I thought 60,000 was like the number. That's what I needed. I'm like, man, if I can get 60K a year, bro, I'm going to be straight. Because back then, rent was like $700-800 a month. I'm like, yeah, I could really turn up with 60. Now, hell no, bro.
I am a flight attendant. How much were you making as a flight attendant when you started versus now? When I left my old airline, I was at about 70,000. Okay. This time around, as a new hire, I am making about 27,000 before taxes.
What's the reason for that? Well, that's crazy.
New hire pay is one price, and then each year it goes up until you max out at like 12 or 13 years, depending on which airline you work for. The company that I'm with hasn't really given a pay raise for a very long time, so we've been in contract negotiations for that.
How do you feel about, going from 70 down to 20?
Depending on the airline that you work for really determines how much you can work. When I was with another airline, I could work a lot more and make a lot more. With my current airline, I'm hindered by a lot of legalities and stuff, so it kind of hinders me from working as much as I would like to.
I've heard that flight attendants don't get paid until the door closes. Is that right?
Get paid until the door closes and the brake releases. So when we are boarding, we are not being paid. When we sign into work, we are not being paid. When we are sitting in the airports between our flights, we are not being paid. It's not all about the money. Of course, we don't do it for the money. If it would help a lot. But yeah, a lot of people do it for the love of people, the love of traveling, and yeah.
Shit, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. They'll have to put me on the no-fly list, bro. Going from 70K to 27K a month, and they don't want to let me work. I'm about to be on the no-fly list, bro. Somebody head get knocked off. What in the world, boy? Hey, shout out to her.
Okay, so I just got off work. And I did the calculation today from my job. Let me just cover up my uniform a little bit more. Of how much money I made per hour. Today, I made $15 an hour. I have been with this company for 8 years. I've been flying as a flight attendant for 6 years, and I made $15. Now, mind you, if I lived in the middle of the United States, okay, sure, $15 an hour, fine. I live in Seattle. All of our bases are on the West Coast. $15 an hour. I could go work as a receptionist and work whatever schedule I wanted as a receptionist at a hotel or something and get paid like 23, 24 entry level.
Ma'am, I'll do you one better than that. You come right here to the NO, straight in New Orleans, and panhandle and make $15 an hour. You could do that on the streets with a cup.
All right, y'all. This is the brother here that used to work at Walmart. He said I left Walmart after 3 months. My checks never had made it past $1,500 bi-week. That's terrible. That's terrible. I'm sorry the brother had to go through that. That's similar. That reminds me on when I first moved down to Charlotte, I had got on with Walmart. I had got on with Carvana. Carvana was paying me $1,800 every time. I went to my boss and told him I'm about to leave. This ain't no money.
Man, the type of person I am, dog, I would always have to keep me a side hustle to kind of like, make ends meet at the end of the month. Because I would have to have something else, dog.
I just got paid, so let's open up my paycheck and see how much it is. This is my second paycheck for my new library job. This one should be a full paycheck for a full 2 weeks. The last one was not, so I'm curious to see how much this is. It was supposed to be direct deposit, but there was something like messed up with it. It's a paper check again, going old school. I think my guess is going to be around maybe like $540, $520. Last check was pretty close to a full check, but I think it was missing 1 or 2 days. It is $549.48. So I was almost correct. $549. That means every 2 weeks I will make $550. So I will make $1,100 a month. That is pretty good for part-time. It's only it's 18 hours a week, but I have 2 30-minute breaks that I'm unpaid for. So I only work 17 hours a week, so that's 34 hours for $550. That's not bad. My hourly wage is $17.57 for anybody that's curious. The minimum wage in Connecticut I think just went up to $16 possibly, or $16.50, so I don't make quite much more than minimum wage. So even though I'm making less money per paycheck at this job than I was my retail job, I'm making more per hour, and also the work is nowhere near as stressful or busy. This job is so chill that I'm absolutely fine only making $1,100 a month at this job. That is amazing for the work that I'm actually doing. It still shocks me and I'm still trying to get used to the change of pace. So this is what a normal paycheck is going to be. Hopefully from now on there'll be direct deposit and I will be back to budget this with you and see how much we can put towards my student loans.
I was almost happy for her until she said student loans. Ma'am, you ain't never paying them student loans off with no $550 a week, ma'am. Part-time, hell no. I was almost happy for her, bro, because she was happy.
How is everyone affording life? Real question. How are you guys doing it? Because my daycare costs the same as our mortgage, which is just wild to me. And I had a crash out earlier today just about how really expensive everything really truly is. And I just don't know how you guys are doing it. So I have a corporate 6-figure job. I should be able to afford life. We're not doing anything wrong. Just life is expensive. And I'm the breadwinner in my household. There's this constant stress, hanging over my head all the time of you got to make more to provide for your family, especially in this day and age. And it's wild because at the same time, I'm stuck in these corporate handcuffs and I am going through burnout. I don't want to continue doing this. I have the mental load, hanging over my head. I'm trying to be a good mom, let alone a good wife, daughter, sister, friend, which I'm failing at all of those things, I feel like.
Hey, man, I don't got a one-size-fit-all answer for what people are doing that you're not doing, but a lot of people selling drugs on the side. Some of these women selling ads on the side. Some people are scamming. Some people are faking it like they got it, but they really don't. Some people live with their parents. Man, just don't think that you the only one struggling. Everybody is, for the most part.
Not to be in y'all's business or anything, but how much money do y'all make an hour? How much money do y'all make? I just seen this video of this girl. She was like, in this type of economy, there's no way I'm showing up to nobody's job to make less than $15 an hour on a lower scale. That's on a terrible scale. And one thing about life, yes, people have to be more grateful. We have to do a better job at being thankful for what we already have. But let me tell you something. You know how brutal that is? Nobody wants to show up to a job and work 40 hours. And half the time, if you're making that type of money, you have to work well over 40 hours for it to even make sense. Because if not, the whole check is going to taxes. And it's crazy because when you don't raise minimum wage, but you have jobs that'll pay you $4 or $5 over the minimum wage, when the minimum wage is already like sinking. When you think of an ocean, like the minimum wage is already underwater. You're dead at that point. But to pay somebody like $4 or $5 right over the minimum wage, just so that they can be able to say they don't make minimum wage, is crazy work in this type of economy. Everybody can't make 6 figures a year. Everybody can't make over 100, 2, 3, 4, 500,000. Making that type of money with these types of jobs. But what I do know is to not be able to make the bare minimum, you ain't seeing no extra money out your check. And matter of fact, the only way that you can even see some of your check is if you don't pay no bills. You would have to live off of somebody else.
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all something that y'all not gonna want to hear, but somebody told it to me and it didn't make sense until it made sense. He said, bro, you're never gonna outsave your way out of poverty. You gotta make more money, and you have to develop skills and get certifications or whatever it is, side hustles. You have to do something extra to get out of the rat race.
Well, if I were to tell you that the United States is a second-rate country, that is LARPing as a first-world country. This is a list of the hours needed to escape poverty living on minimum wage. Yes, there's people that make more than minimum wage. Yes, not everybody makes this, but just look at this and like compare it to what kind of life we live here. Japan, you need 11 hours. United Kingdom, 23. France, 26. Like going up to the higher tier, you're looking at 44 in Canada. So you might have to work a little bit of overtime every single week. But United States, you need 90 hours. 90 hours of minimum wage work just to escape poverty. Mind you, the poverty line is not that high. I think the poverty line is like $30,000 a year, which I don't even see how the poverty line is like that low, because really, I think if you're making anything less than 40 or 50 anywhere in the United States, you can't really afford a 1-bedroom apartment. And in some places like where I live in the Bay Area, you're talking about probably needing like $50, $60 an hour just to afford a 2-bedroom place, a 1-bedroom place, like comfortably. You cannot tell me that this is the land of the free, that this is the American dream. Like, because whose dream is it to work 2.5 jobs a week?
Yo, man, look, dog, that when you put it in perspective like that should piss you off for real.
Have kids, but even if you don't, how are we affording things? How are you affording anything? And houses and cars, that's not really what I'm talking, but yeah, that. I mean more like how are you affording gas and groceries and healthcare and utilities and all the other 900 subscriptions that are required to live these days? How are you doing that? I'm assuming you all also are not you're not taking any vacations, and you've like us have just cut out the coffee and the Target shopping and the activities for the kids as much as you can. You've taken away. You've gotten rid of pretty much anything fun. Like, you're not having any more fun. Assuming you're also doing that, how are you living? If you have any tips or tricks, just go ahead and drop them in the comments.
A lot of people are just not affording things, man. People are living in cars. They didn't move back home with their parents, sleeping in parking lots and tents and storage facilities, bro. Everybody don't have a place to live. I'm telling you.
You know what? They keep saying that we're in the age of disclosure, and I think that they're right. But I think we also need to start disclosing something else, like on a personal level. Like, I think more people, especially Americans, need to start disclosing how much they are struggling financially. Like, I made a video yesterday talking about how this is my first job that I've been able to land since November of last year. I'm not full time. That job is not full time. It is $19 an hour. It is 32 hours a week. My lease renewal, I've got my third notification about my lease renewal. I cannot afford to renew this lease, and I also can't afford to move, because if you move, what do you got to do? Deposit, admin fee, application fee, paying for the moving truck, taking time off of work, all this extra stuff that you have to pay for. I cannot afford to do either one. And a lot of people are in this position right now. A lot of people cannot find a job. And it's not because there's just a natural scarcity when it comes to job. It is a manufactured scarcity. They're not hiring anyone. They're cutting 90% of their workforce and getting the remaining 10% to do the work of the other 90% while not increasing their pay. The cost of everything is going up, but everybody keeps reporting record profits. Nobody can afford to pay their workers a livable wage, but everybody has record profits. But you know who does get paid? The shareholders, who do absolutely nothing for the company. This is the state of the economy, right? Like, this is a reality. This is real. And this is where we all are. It's a lot more people that are just too embarrassed to say. You should never be embarrassed about what this system has done to you, because I'm not.
Yeah, man, if people stop acting like they're not broke as they actually are, it might get some things done around here, because then people would have an actual pulse on what's going on. Because, hey, you look fine to me. You looking good on the ground. You're traveling, even though you put that on a credit card and you making minimum payments for the rest of your life trying to pay off that Disney World trip. You know, if they let everybody be more transparent, then the government, politicians, and all of that kind of stuff would have to come in and really do something about it. But yeah, they got too many people acting like shit ain't abnormal out here. But guys, that's the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna holler at y'all on the next one.